Hello, yogis. Lizzie Lassiter here with your new moon class, June 2025. Today we have the great honor and pleasure of spending some time with Elena Brower from glow.com, who's one of my mentors and beloved sisters on the path of yoga. So, all of the links that you need are below here. If for some reason you have found your way to this monthly free class and you are not subscribed to our new moon mail, please rectify that situation immediately. I'm going to share my screen with you and we will look at what that looks like. I want to show you Lassiter.yoga and where you can find our newsletter. So here we are before we get to Elena. This is Lassiter.yoga. It's a very simple URL. I'll also include the link below. And if you scroll all the way down here, this is the link to subscribe to our new moon mail. We send respectfully and sparingly. If you click on that, it's going to take you to this newsletter sign up. So that's one thing I want to share. Upcoming in July, if you go to Strength and Graceful Aging, we have a chair yoga class that's coming up. That's July 6th with the fabulous yoga therapist, Mary Richards, who many of you know. And she's going to spend 2 hours with us. It's for your own practice with the chair and for your students if you teach with the chair. That's a really delicious offering that you should definitely take advantage of. And the other thing, today we're talking about strength training from a yogic perspective or strength training on your yoga mat. So if you're interested in strength, there are two other options here at Lassiter.yoga. We have a full-length course called Somatic Strength. That's a 5-week self-paced course, again, with Mary Richards. And it's really by yogis for yogis. So we use the breath as the guide everywhere, but it's strength training for functional movement and building resiliency, balance. Go here and watch some of these videos. You'll learn about what our approach is. The other thing is our somatic self-care class. This is a monthly functional movement and strength training class to build resilience, cultivate yoga skills, and support healthy aging. This is our healthy aging monthly meeting. You get a Zoom link every month and a recording and Mary's wonderful stick figure drawings and PDFs. So she does a sequence every month, a new sequence that is designed around a theme. I hope you'll join us at one of those paid opportunities or, of course, at our free New Moon Mail newsletter. So you can see I am glowing. I just finished speaking with Elena Brower. That's coming up next. She guides us through how, number one, we have a conversation about the importance of strength training, why it's never too late to start, our favorite strength training app that she and I are both using. I've included the link below here on YouTube. By the way, I personally see all of the comments that come through my channel, so please use that opportunity to speak directly to me. Do you like this class? Do you like this type of content? How do you feel after the practice? Where are you joining us from in the world? So, without further ado, I give you the fantastic Elena Brower. We are here with Elena Brower from glow.com. Hi, Elena.
Hi, sister. So nice to be here with you.
Such a pleasure. I am a enthusiastic member of Elena's Hive mentorship program where I have learned so much. Unexpectedly, it's really about business for me. That's why I thought I joined, but I have learned so much about strength training from you. What's the connection for you between straightening out our business and straightening out our bodies, especially in relationship with strength?
For me, it all started when I started to have premenopausal symptoms. I was 47. I'm now almost 55. I've been in menopause for 3 years. So just to give our viewer, listener a framework, when I started to have those symptoms was when I started seeing Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. She happens to also be my son's father's second ex-wife. After
Okay.
It's really funny. We're sisters. We gave a great effort at the dissolution of their marriage. I was able to help her. We're all still friends. We still love Jonah's daddy, and all is well. But she really came to me and said, look, if you're having these symptoms, it's really time to pull it together and start weightlifting. And I was like, I don't want any muscle. I don't want to be one of those girls like bulky. I love you, but that's not the body that I want necessarily. And we laugh about this constantly. So it's really funny. She encouraged me to get a trainer. You can have a trainer, you can get on a fitness app, which we'll talk about in a little while. I decided that my body and my happiness, my mind were the most important priorities so that I could be a good parent and a good partner. Got the trainer and worked with him for about a year and a half, very diligently. It cost me money. It was money I was willing to spend because I saw it as kind of a future insurance policy, a gift from my future self. It worked out that way. He taught me so much about how to move and, what it means to move safely and functionally. And Gabrielle, meanwhile, was feeding me all this information about, how muscle is the biggest organ in our bodies, how it really is the place where glucose gets stored. So for a long time, I had really high blood sugar, high insulin. It was not good at all. And I could feel the sort of up and down in my body, in my mind, in my emotional body, in my mood. And I began to notice that as I would lift weights, there were these cascades of chemistry that were so happy and so clear. And I started to realize that when glucose is left to run free throughout the body, when there's not enough muscle tissue of caliber, like high caliber muscle tissue is the most important, the composition matters. The glucose runs rampant, causes high insulin, and causes these terrible mood spikes, causes strain on the liver, causes all sorts of symptoms of menopause, which all but ceased the moment I started to lift heavy weight. All that to say, as soon as I started to do so, my business also started to get more clear to me because my mind was more my own. I started to see exactly what I wanted to do with my life. I took myself off of certain tracks that I thought were a given and began to design things like Hive, which didn't exist. Like I just wanted to work closely with people that I love and help them. And I wanted to help them professionally and personally. And because of all of this clarity in my body, I was able to say, okay, this is what I want to do. This is how I have to set it up. And these are the things that I have to put in place, like structures. And that was it.
This is so inspiring, Elena. It's a macrocosm of the microcosm I've been experiencing since you encouraged me to get on the
Mhm.
ladder workout app, which I've been doing. And I've been lifting weights for a month and a half, and it feels so good. Clarity is a word. And I feel like I'm on a train track. Like I'm being directed in a certain direction. If you're watching this on YouTube, comment below if anything that Alina said resonated with you. If you're also resisting weight training because you are afraid of being bulky. That's the word that women say. Elena, what is the idea for you about? So many of us feel like it's too late to start. If we're in our 40s, 50s, 60s, we have students at Yoga in their 70s. Is it too late to start strength training?
Never. And the way I would start, and I never too late. I've actually pulled out for our conversation, I pulled out a bunch of different items, and I'll pull you a little closer and we can sort of walk through that. But I started with 2, 3, 5 pound weights. And I have also here some wrist weights and ankle weights that you can put on and just do body weight plus 2 pounds,
Yeah.
plus 3 pounds. And over time, the muscle functions so beautifully. The moment you begin building the tissue, it begins to build strength, and you can start pretty quickly to see results. And it doesn't matter how old you are, as long as you're moving safely, which, I think from all of Lizzie's programs, and I've taken many, including the strength ones, um, if you've gotten all the way here and you're watching this, that you have certain ways that you can move safely. It's really important to put your shoulder blades on your back. It's very important to set your thigh bones back when you're standing. There are certain things that your body now knows. Your mind
Yeah.
doesn't even know it anymore. Your body knows. And so if you heed and move slowly and heed what your body already knows, what you've learned from Lizzie and Judith and everyone here, you will be fine. And I would encourage you to move slowly and clearly.
Yeah. And for me, the game changer was understanding strength training as a somatic practice. So I often have my eyes closed and I'm moving from the inside out interoceptively, just as I would in my asana practice. I'm feeling, and when I come at it from that approach, I know I'm not going to hurt myself because I'm feeling every rep. I'm moving slowly and I'm paying exquisite attention. Last question before we move to your mat and you show us some of your moves. Like, how has strength training or has strength training started to influence your asana practice?
Lot. Actually, I can tell you for sure that there are things that I can do now, even as simple as a wheel and bridge, differently than I used to be able to do them because of the strength of my limbs and the muscles of my limbs. Now I can open chest and heart more. Now I can feel a little more flexibility in my spine because the muscles are now building little tiny fast twitch muscles along my spine. It's pretty exceptional. And I can see it because I have the work of recording and offering classes on Glow twice a week, every week, all year. I know what my practice looks like. And since I've taken that weight training trained seriously, I can see from 5 years ago or 3 years ago or 7 years ago the difference in my body from then to now. Now I have muscles in my arms, and I'll show you why you shouldn't be worried about bulk.
Someone said recently, which really resonated with me, bulk is really about what we're eating. Oh, wait, we can't
Look,
see you. You have to talk, so you come in.
okay, so here's like that's not bulky, that's just toned. You know what I mean? James loves it. He's so excited. Um, you don't have to worry about bulk. I would strongly recommend that you just start very small, like we said, and I'll show you a few things, and and begin where you are and just feel the strength. And I would encourage you also to feel the shift in your chemistry as you begin. I have seen even now, I've had a lot of experience now. It's not a lot of years, it's 7 years. But even now, when I feel myself in kind of a sad space emotionally, or angry or frustrated, something is happening for me. The moment I begin to lift, to resistance train, everything changes. I can feel, as I mentioned previously, the cascade of chemistry through my system. It's unmistakable. And I feel better, clearer. My mind is my own.
Okay, I'm gonna make you big so we just see you, and you can move back and sh show us a few of your favorite moves.
I've set you up, so I think we should be good here.
Yeah.
And I've taken some notes too, Lizzie. You know how dorky I am.
Always the notebook with Elena.
Always a notebook. Um, so I'm going to start with a little bit of just warm-ups, really simple. I'm going to leave the weights here and the bands and everything, and I'll introduce you to each thing as we go. The first thing, if you're just starting out, to put on little ankle weights. Such a nice way to give your legs a little more weight. And I do this now to this day, even when I'm doing other work with other heavier 10, 15, 20 pound weights. First thing we'll do is called 90-90. And you're going to sit kind of like in a pigeon with half a virasana. Okay. And put your hands behind yourself and then just move from side to side and just kind of get into your hips and open up your legs, your pelvis. It's a really nice way to begin. And of course, if you have the weights, great, but if you don't, that's totally fine. And since we'll be doing a little bit of upper body and a little bit of lower body as we go, and we'll keep chatting and moving, um, I'll start in a squat. And I'll encourage you to just come into a squat on your own. If you need help, support for your heels, you can just go ahead and fold your mat like that and use your mat to support your heels. And then slowly, with your hands out in front of you, fingertips long, slowly lift your sitting bones up and try and hover your sitting bones over your heels and then lower back down. And the inhale is the lower down, and the exhale reaches you back up into the forward bend. So you can see, this is very yogic and also really efficient in warming up the muscle groups that we're going to address here. And it's pretty
Yes.
simple. We'll just do one more. Yep. And then take the forward bend. And here is familiar territory. You know exactly what to do in Uttanasana. And then you can bend your knees a little bit. And for lower body stuff, I'll just show you a few options for things. There are these great thick bands, and there are also these sort of thinner bands. And I'll just work with the green because you can see it so nicely on the black pants. Ah, there we go. I'm going to work with the blue. That's what happens.
I'm gonna put these all for everyone in the video description below. Find the links to
Exactly.
everything.
Exactly. And then this, if you do have a band and it does break, you can use it in other ways as a single strand. So here's some cool squats. And you can start like this. And especially if you are having a hard day, especially if you feel sad or frustrated or hopeless about the state of the world, weirdly, to practice squats and build this big muscle groups of your body, your glutes, your hamstrings, your thighs, quads, is so good for us. So you can bring your hands into Anjali Mudra. Inhale to lower down, and you'll notice that my knees are over my ankles. I'm not bending my knees forward. I'm really trying to keep them over my ankles for this round. And then press up. It's basically chair pose. Just 3 more here. And exhale. 2 more. And last one. And if you want to get some more work out of it, you can always take another band of any kind, put your forearms into the band, so it's just below your elbows, and come into chair pose and resist the arms out against the band. So it's super nice. And this is a great deal of work. You can just hang out in chair, and this is considered resistance training because you're adding weight or energy to the posture. One last option before we move on. I'll use the 8 pounds and I'll put the weights together in front of me like this. And so it's sort of like a goblet squat. Now, technically, a goblet squat is a kettlebell, but it's nice. You can use your 2 dumbbells of any weight and be fine. Or we'll do 4 more. You can also just use your body weight. And again, you can see this way of moving. You can feel it in your body, is not only building heat, but building strength. Last one. Cool. And now you're pretty warm. I'll leave everything as it is. I'll leave my little ankle weights on. And I'll
Yes,
come
I
over
am
to you
very
and we can,
warm.
yeah, it's good, right?
It's really good. So, what for you, what's your flow? Is this before you do your asana practice?
It depends on the day because when I'm filming for Glow, I'll usually do that first thing before the house wakes up, just so that it's nice and quiet. You know how that is. My
Yes.
kid's 18, but he's home for the summer. My man is waking up early and doing his own practices. So the earlier, the better, and the quieter the house, the better, of course. Usually then I'll get into work, a big giant vat of lemon water.
Yeah.
So nice. While I'm working out, I'll get into my work after the yoga. And on some days, I'll actually break up, as we are doing right now, the strength training into bits. So it's not all happening at once. Sometimes it does, but usually it's happening like I'll do the lower body section, I'll do the upper body section, I'll do the abs a little later. Some days, Lizzie, I will wait until after dinner so that the biggest, sort of meal of the day, which is not ideal, but sometimes it is, comes right before a really strong weight workout. So it's like 8 o'clock at night, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and I'll do the weights for 40 minutes. And it's awesome. I feel so good after all of that glucose has now been processed and stored properly. And I sleep through the night so solidly.
That's
So,
amazing. Yeah, this is a new image I haven't embraced yet. I'm really on the like get up first thing, workout,
mhm.
train. But the idea of breaking it up throughout the day or even looking for opportunities for extra work throughout the day as it relates to not just trying to work out or complete something checklist, but I love your frame about mental health and glucose and that steadiness. It's like, oh, I'm doing five of those goblet squats with the
Mhm.
hand weights as a way of cultivating steadiness in my mood and in my mind.
Yes, yes,
Like, that's a totally new
yes.
frame. So, do you want to talk about Ladder a little bit? That's the workout app that you recommended to me that I've been loving. I'll include a link below for everyone.
Yep.
Talk about it. What do you love about it?
I don't work for them. I don't do anything for them. But what I love is that I'm on the road a lot and I can open up that app and there's a full resistance training workout for me that I can follow. I can also swap exercises out. Let's say for if I have an injury of some kind, you have the option to swap exercises out. It's just very easy to follow. On the classes on Glow, I'm also now being asked because people are aware of what it means to be strong. And now I'm offering yoga conditioning classes. So I thought I would share with you a little sun salutation with some weights. It's so sweet to have all of these different options. And what's nice about Glow and Ladder, they're both very inexpensive. For the cost
Yeah,
of one class, basically one sort of group class,
in
that's the
person.
cost of the app
Yeah.
per month.
Yeah, it's
That's
amazing. And
crazy.
it's crazy. What I love about Ladder is that it's very gamified
Mm.
for me. I'm shocked how
Yeah,
much that is influencing me in a positive. Like it has these
totally.
streaks and these little things, but I'm like, ooh, I don't want to break my streak. I better work out. So I'm letting myself be kind of influenced by this app in that
Sure.
sense. Okay, my philosophy, I want to check in and see before we
Mm,
see your sun salutation, if you agree with me.
mm,
I am a huge proponent, especially of women, especially as we were speaking, perimenopause, menopause, and beyond, that we give ourselves permission to rewire, rethink, and remake our asana practice to fit what it is that we actually need in this phase of our life. If it
mm.
means more weight training, my practice is going in two directions: more strength training and more restorative yoga. It's like these are the things that I am desperately craving as a 42-year-old working mom of 5-year-old
Yeah,
twin boys.
yeah.
I'm already feeling perimenopause stuff going on. So but I think the part I wanted to check in with you is that we have this kind of voice in our head of that comes from our lineage, which we honor. We learned yoga from someone who learned yoga, who learned yoga. I learned yoga from my mom, who learned it from BKS Iyengar. It
Mm,
comes from a place that, frankly, it did not evolve in the female body under the conditions that we're living in today. Speak, preach. What do you think, Elena?
I'm also looking at the practice of Zen through a female lens these days. So interesting. Really beautiful writings from very few women Zen priests who are talking about how the practice itself, the Zazen practice, was designed for men, for a male body. So Gita Iyengar, at the time of my training back in the late 90s, early 2000s, was very important to me. That book was very important to me. I bought it many times and gave it away. And seeing her body in practice gave me permission to just do what I need. And I never really suffered, even though I continually chose male teachers until I didn't. I never really suffered from thinking that I had to be a certain way. I always knew, because of Gita's influence and work in the world, that I could do what I needed. So I think that gives me a certain confidence in how I design my own practices, and how I design practices, of course, for Glow and my students there.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, let's see the sun salutations. I'm going to pin
It's
you
so much
again.
fun, of course. Okay, so I've got weights on my ankles, which is nice for parts of it. And I'm going to set the kettlebell aside. I'm going to take the 8-pound weights. These are heavy, but I've been working up to this. And I'm going to redesign the sun salutation. So I'll bring the weights together in front like a goblet. I'll draw my shoulder blades toward one another. Bend my knees slightly to support the lower body as I press the weight up, and exhale, draw the weight down. And notice the press up, seemingly the biggest effort. No, actually, to effort by drawing your navel back, thighs back, and really draw the weight down as you fold is really important. So the weight lifting is as much as important as the weight putting it down. Place your weights or your hands. As you inhale, lengthen your heart forward. You can always bend your knees to do this if your elbows are not reach, if your hands are not reaching the weights. And then gently step back to plank pose. And here we're keeping our hands on the weights. We're attempting to make the wrists as straight as possible, as supportive as possible. And you can start by doing little rows here. That's a really nice way. And again, the lift and the lowering is important. In a way, the lowering is where a lot of my strength comes from. Okay, we'll just do a couple of those so you can feel it. And then reach back into dog, or you can lower down into chaturanga and do a little push-up on the weights or on the floor. You can also do a progressive push-up where you set your knees down, lifting your feet or setting your feet down. Strong abdomen the whole time. Coming back to plank, moving back to dog. And from here, you can set your right foot just outside of the weight and slowly draw your hand up. Move so slowly, press the weight to the sky. And again, as slowly as possible, with as much strength and clarity as possible, lower the weight back down. Step back to plank. Left foot outside left hand. Left arm reaches high, holding the weight very carefully and very mindfully. And then press it back down into the floor, never dropping, always pressing, and reach back into your dog. There are so many ways to play here. You can go ahead and jump your feet just outside of your weights, coming back into a squat, find the goblet with both weights, and take a little malasana where you're holding weights, your elbows are pressing out against your knees are pressing in against elbows, and slowly press yourself up to stand. That's a deep strengthening squat, and we'll do 3 of those. Inhale to lower down, and exhale to press up. One more time. Inhale to lower, and exhale, pressing yourself up. I've got a good sweat going. I'm going to slowly lower the weights down to the floor carefully, always bending the knees if you need to. Fine if you have straight legs. And then slowly take the weights back to my chest, press up, Press the weights overhead, thighs back, glutes strong, and then exhale, bring the weights back to my heart. Now, as you can see, there are so many things you can do with those weights when you're saluting the sun. It's so sweet to just get very creative and play,
Yes, it's super playful. It's I'm glowing
right?
more and more. And it does feel like that intentional. I love the speed, the slow speed, and the eccentric contractions that we're feeling as we're lowering things, as opposed to like forget about it and let it drop with gravity. But we're going against gravity and using all of the stabilizers to help that happen.
Yeah,
Okay, tell
exactly.
us from your notebook or your
Mhm.
memory any other motivational factoids that can help us that you've learned from Dr. Gabrielle Lyons, etc., about the value of strength training for us.
I think most of all, just test it out for yourself. I don't want to say anything more. You have the the bulk of what is valuable here. Glucose storehouse. High quality muscle is a glucose storehouse. There's an aspect of discipline where please lose all of your previous associations that you have with that word. Discipline for me is freedom. If I know that over the course of the day, I'm going to get to a few points of power during that day, I feel so free. I used to be worried about what was happening to my body, worried about that I was a victim of time. And now I feel this level of discipline actually has given me a sense of liberation, of freedom in this body at this age that's only going to increase as I get older. And I'm like excited to grow older and be an elder and hold this wisdom, very basic, body centric, muscle centric, as Gabrielle calls it, wisdom, and share it as broadly as I can. But test it out for yourself and see what you feel like after you do some of this very simple work with very light weights or none at all, but focusing on the slow lifting, the slow stability that you're causing in your body by working so mindfully with or without weight. And then the last thing I would say is don't stop. As long as your body is healthy and there's no injury, just do it when you don't want to do it. And you will show yourself that you have power that you didn't even realize that you had. And that level of consistency will carry you into the conversations that are so hard, the conversations about the ailing parents, the conversations about ailing siblings, the conversations about your kid who, is growing older and moving away or, having a hard time, struggling. These conversations need your physical strength. That's really the most of what I can say. And again, don't believe what I'm saying. Test it out and see how you go and really see what it does for you.
Yeah, thank you, Elena. I one thing I notice that is so simple and obvious makes me laugh at myself, but when I do the
Mm,
workouts on the Ladder app, when you finish a workout, it asks you to rate that workout from 1 to 5 stars. And every single time I put 5 stars. And the
same.
workouts are great. It's not necessarily a function. I'm not actually evaluating, was that a great workout? I'm just always so happy and uplifted when I finish 30 minutes of strength training that I'm like giving 5 stars to like life at that point. Like
Yes.
I'm radiating a 5 star rating to everyone that I encounter,
Mm,
including hopefully towards myself as well. But it's like it's a really funny, and I love that connection with discipline. It's like I'm lifting heavy things, I'm building strength because I'm lifting heavy things and building strength. And the result of that is that I'm gonna turn myself into this 5-star person. Like the attitude of 5 stars
Yeah,
is just radiating out.
totally. Totally. And I have maybe a couple of other things that I think might be really interesting. I've been thinking about it for a couple of weeks now. What are the most sort of efficient movements that feel like yoga, but also are strength building? And I want to do one thing that's standing if we still have time.
Yes.
One thing that's standing and some core work as well with the weights. Is that cool?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, yes,
Awesome.
yes.
Awesome.
I have a
Awesome.
I'm gonna pin you once again.
Great. So you can go ahead and step your left foot forward and your right knee down. A little more advanced would be if you kept the back leg off the floor. That would be pretty advanced. I'll grab the 8 pound weight. I'm going to bring it up above my head, just in the interest of playing with upper body strength as we open and create flexibility in the hips. I'm going to come from left side and slowly lower down to the right. Okay, and I'm moving slowly upward. But again, that emphasis on abdominals back as you lower down toward right hip. I really love this for particularly for vanity. I love my abs after I do this. I can see them. Let's do two more for a total of 5. And again, if you're more advanced and you want to have the full lunge, you can go ahead and lift the back knee off the floor like I'm doing here. Great. And then set the weight down in front of you. Step back to dog. Give yourself a stretch. And if you have the ankle weights on and you want to play, you can bring right leg up to a dog split. That's very sweet with an ankle weight. And then little mountain climbers are fun. Starting the ab work, right elbow, right knee touching right elbow, left knee touching left elbow. And you can go as fast as you like. And again, if you have the weights on your ankle, it's very fun and very strong. And then reach back into dog, left leg high. And of course, from here, take your pigeon, whatever else you need. You can bring your right foot forward, and we'll do the second side on the lunge, lifting the weight up over towards your right shoulder, and then slowly lowering down, abdominals back. This is the first of 5. Inhale up for 2, and exhale down to the left hip. Again, you can lift your back knee if you want. 3 more. Inhale, and exhale, lower to the left. Inhale, lower. I think this is called wood chopper. Inhale and lower. Good. Set the weight down, step back to dog. And I think something also worth mentioning, Lizzie, is that when we do these sort of little intervals of strong training, you raise your HRV, your heart rate variability. And go ahead and step your feet outside your hands. Let's just sneak in one more deep squat, shall we? And if you want, you can pick up your weights, take them as a goblet or not, and then slowly press up, abdominal strong, seat strong, legs strong, feet strong. You're building strength in your ankles too. And then let's lower back down for some core work. I love doing calf raises, but we didn't get to that today. All right, take your weight or weights, come to lie down on your back, legs to 45 degrees or to 90 degrees. 90 is a little more merciful, 45 is a little more challenging. You can take one of your weights or 2, depending on the resistance that you want, and lengthen it over your head at 45 degrees. And then you can lift your chin to your chest and you can lower down so that your legs are 45 degrees, your arms are 45 degrees. And this is called a hollow body hold. And this hollow body hold is so nice for building strength in the core as you inhale
breathe in. As you exhale, deepen the connection of your abdominals to your spine. And we'll take about 3 more breaths here. Good. And then slowly lower the weight down toward your chest. Place your feet on the floor, and you can just rest your hands with the weight in your hands on your lower belly. And let's do a little glute bridge. So lifting your pelvis, squeezing the glutes, lifting your heart, and then lower down. And we'll do that a few more times. Lifting up and lower down. Lifting up and lower down. One more time, up and lower down. That was really just to distract you from your abdominals. Now set the weight off to the side, and we'll take a couple more things. Always really nice to have these ankle weights on. Flex your feet and reach your hands to touch your toes, and then release them to behind your head as your head touches down. Exhale, touch your toes. Inhale, release. X, release. X, release. X, release. Last one. And hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then gently hug your knees in. Good. Let's take one more bit with our abdominals. So just some bicycles, and these are really fun if you can have the weights on. They're great with the weights off too. Hands behind your head, interlace all the way to the webbing. And then bring your right elbow to touch your left knee as your right leg extends out to about 45 degrees. And then inhale, return to center. Knees together, head resting. Exhale, switch. So left arm to right knee. Inhale, return to center. And continue. X, X. And it really, these are 2-pound angle weights, and it really adds a lot of work here. Let's take 3 more rounds to each side. 2 and 3. Good. Hug your knees into your chest. And let's take one sort of relaxing twist. Knees over to your left. Arms out like a T. And gaze to your right. And of course, if you're watching this, you have a pretty dedicated yoga practice. So all the stretches that you know that you would use to close your practice, everything from halasana, shoulder stand, to up to plow pose rather, to shoulder stand, salamba sarvangasana, to paschimottanasana, seated forward bend, to shavasana, which is probably how you found Lizzie in the first place. Lengthen your legs, open your hands, your arms. Just take about 3 full breaths here, really conscientious and thankful. One more breath here. Good. And then slowly bring your knees into your chest, hug them in. Roll to your right side. You can rest your head on your right upper arm if you like, and then slowly come up to take a seat. I'll take these weights off so we can greet each other. And there are so many ways to work with these weights and different kinds of everything that we did. But this was a wonderful taste of what it looks like to just add a little bit of work to your yoga practice and create the conditions in your body for real strength, not just in your body, but also in your mind. So thank you so much for joining us for these little bursts of practice. I so appreciate it. And I'll come closer.
Absolutely. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Let me remove your. Thank you so much for that infusion of
Mm.
ideas. It was like a little tour through your favorite practices that we can incorporate into our own home practices. I just want to say thank you, Elena, for being a mentor to me and to all of us. You are an elegant light on the path. And it is an honor to share this work with you. Just your composition, your visual composition. When I see
Mm.
your practice space, I feel uplifted to
Mm.
be in connection with you. Thank you for sharing this work with us. Tell everyone where they can find you on the internet.
I will, but first, I just want to say I really love your mom. She has been a huge influence on my composure and my steadiness. And I just want to say thank you so much, Judith Hanson Lassiter, for being such a tremendous force of good in my life.
Yeah, we love you,
Thank you
Mama.
so much, Mama.
Yeah.
And the easiest way to find me is just through my website, elenabrower.com. You'll find courses and retreats every now and again. And I do a weekly Substack, usually 3 times a month Substack, that I really enjoy and offer the best of what I know there. But it's a great pleasure to be here with you, Lizzie, and to, you know, look at what I'm doing in my own practice and share it with you guys so that my voice becomes more and more clear as it goes. And I really appreciate that opportunity.
Absolutely. We'll close together. Inhale, open the palms away from the body. With an exhalation, bring them together in front of your heart. Namaste. May we live like the lotus at home in the muddy water.
In the
Thank
muddy
you so
water.
much. Lots
Thank you
of
so
love.
much.